Thank you for joining the professor and my YouTube channel. Now, about 6 months ago, I made a video about LSSC, the scooter company. A lot of people were calling me and asking me about whether the scooter company LSSC was a Ponzi scheme. And at the time I made a video, I made it very clear that the LSSC, based on their business model, based on my investigation, based on the fact that there was no transparency behind the company, nobody knew who was in charge, that he was obviously a Ponzi scheme. It operated a Ponzi scheme. It was a Ponzi scheme. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't listen to me. I have been warning the Haitian community and other community that the scooter company was a Ponzi scheme. Now, a lot of people who came in early in the Ponzi scheme back in 2020 when this company first started did make a little bit of money. But most of the people who comes in the late 2020s up to now lost a lot of money. Now, when I made my last video about the scooter company, I said that I gave it about a year before the entire thing collapses because, I have experience in investigating those Ponzi schemes from Emini FX to Omega Pro to Novatech to Coin One. I know how these things unfold. Unfortunately, there are still people out there who believe that somehow they can make money, their life could change by just giving the little money that they have to some criminals somewhere that's promised them to make them rich. And of course, that's never going to happen, guys. That's not the way you get rich. It doesn't happen, no matter what anybody tells you. Now, for those of you who have subscribed to my channel, you should know better. You should have learned something because I have been doing this for the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And if you watch my channel, you would have learned a lot about how the economy works, why these are things are fraudulent, and why you need to do before you invest your money with a certain company. Now, certainly, I was wrong when I said I think that the scooter company would collapse within a year. It did collapse within 6 months. So I give it a little bit of more time. So this week, actually, this past month, we are in August now. This is August 1st today that I'm making this video. Last month, July 11, the scooter company stopped paying. People have not been able to get access to their account. And this is this classic Ponzi scheme. The same thing was done in Novatech. The same thing was done in Omega Pro. The same thing was done in OneCoin. Guys, I'm telling you, I don't know how to explain it. I was just at a meeting with hundreds of people who have invested in the scooter company that have lost probably hundreds of millions of dollars. And I don't understand why is it so easy for you to give your hard-earned money to some faceless, nameless person that promised to make you rich. I just don't understand how you do it because I can't do it. But in any event, the scooter company basically is out of business. Okay. It's out of business because it's a Ponzi scheme. Basically, I've already described in many of my videos what a Ponzi scheme is. If you don't know what a Ponzi scheme is when they're taking money from people, from you to pay people that came before you. So there is really no investment. So when it comes to the scooter company, there was never any investment. There was no transparency because none of you invested in the scooter company could actually tell me for certainty who do you think the CEO, the person in charge of the scooter company. Nobody knows. I've been looking for him and I couldn't find him. So I think this was a clever Ponzi scheme because the people behind the Ponzi scheme has been hiding. So there are ways to find out where your money went because initially the Ponzi scheme started where people would send money. They would send bank transfers. They would send money to different accounts. And then early last year, the scooter company changed it to Bitcoin. And because they knew this was about to collapse. So there are ways to trace Bitcoin, and this is something that can be done. But I don't know what to tell you. And I am sick to my stomach to listen to people from my own community. I'm Haitian American. I'm a former attorney. I am very versed. I'm a former prosecutor as well from Brooklyn. I know a fraud when I see one. And I have, for the better part of the last 4 years, been warning the community about that. And I've told you so many times that that's not the way to get rich. You would never get rich this way. You're just going to lose your money. So, just like I predicted, just like I've said before, the scooter company turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. So, the question is there are people all over the world, from Canada, from Mexico, from Brazil, from Europe, from Africa. I was at a meeting, there was people from Ethiopia and different places. And the question is, uh, what's going to happen? Are you going to be able to recover some of your money? Now, I know that some people have reached out to the FBI, and I cannot tell you whether the FBI is currently or are investigating what's going on. I'm not sure. I don't know. But there may be some legal avenues for people to take actions, whether it's through government official here in the United States, to the FBI, and through other agencies. But if you look at what the scooter company has done, they promise high return. And by saying that, oh, there's all these scooters around the world who's making money, and you're going to make money, you're going to make money, and people invest their money, they see their money increase over time. Somebody who invested $5,000 within a few months, that 5,000 could go to 14, 15, $16,000. And then just like any other Ponzi scheme, they encourage people not to take the money out, or they make it very hard for you to take the money out. Or they tell you that if you invested 5,000 and your money goes to 20, naturally you should be able to take all your money out, or you should be able to take most of it out, but they only allow you to take part of what you invested, your real money, and then they're going to charge you for taking your own money that you invested. What kind of investment is that, guy? Where would you go and invest any money, and then you make such profit, and the company says, no, you can't take out the profit because we're going to charge you? So I know in my community, people are not used to investing. I know in my community, people don't understand how the economy works. And my job is to explain it to you guys. And I've said it many times. It's very simple. It's not that complicated. It's very, very, very simple, very elementary, very simple. The way you make money, you buy something for 2 cents, you sell it for 4 cents, you make a profit. And that depends on who's asking, depend on the market and the demand on the market. So no one is going to tell you, give me your money, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you a lot of money back. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. So I have said to you to stay away from LSSC, the scooter company. And I've said this a year and a half ago. I've said it a year ago. I've said it earlier this year. I've said it late this year, late last year. I said stay away from the scooter company. It is a fraud because the entire business model is based on a Ponzi scheme. Is based on a scheme where you have to bring people in to make money, and then they'll tell you all of these things that they give you. They promise you a car, they promise you trip, they promise you all of this stuff. But for you to get this stuff, you have to put in more money. So in other words, if they promise you a trip that worth 2,000, but you have to put maybe 5,000 or 10,000 to be able to get that trip, so where is the profit? What are you making? You're not making anything. What you're doing is giving your money to criminals, which is what these people are. They're criminals. But I have warned you, and I'm sure there are other people out there doing sort of the same thing that I'm doing via YouTube, and they have warned you guys that the scooter company was a Ponzi scheme. Now, here's what you have to watch for, okay? Normally, and this happened in Novatech, it happens in Omega Pro. The scooter company started as a Ponzi scheme. Now the scooter company is closing shop, they're taking enough money, they're getting themselves out of the way. What they've attempted to do now, they attempted to create another company, and then they're telling the members, the people who invested money in the scooter, that hey, if you need your money from the scooter company, you have to invest in this new company. In other words, try to take more money from you. Now, I don't know. And I know no one is stupid. You may not be as educated, you may not be as informed, but stupidity, I don't think, is one of them. If you invest your money in the scooter company, and the scooter company now close shop, close your account, your money is gone, you lost your money. And then another company comes on the background and say, hey, you know what? I would be able to, I can get you your money from the scooter company, but hey, you have to invest some money there. You know what they have? They have a list of people, and they call it the list of the gullibles. Okay, the list of the gullible people, gullibles. And what they do is they go around these people and they target them because they think they can get money out of them. And they've done that over time because if you look at the people who are committing those fraud, those Ponzi scheme, it's the same people. They go from one company to another. The people who are now who are behind the LSSC, the scooter company, maybe the same people who are behind OneCoin or some of the other Ponzi scheme because they know that people cannot resist the idea of being rich. They cannot resist the idea of making money for nothing. Because if you go to the stock market, you invest your money in the stock market. If you're a great investor, maybe you could make 20%, 25% of your money, but most people make between 12 and 19%, and they're happy. But this is a real market. This is where things are going to be, where things are. This is where it's a real company. You can follow the progress of your money. You could see your money grow. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, sometimes you make more, sometimes you make less. It's a real investment because it's based on the market. But when somebody is telling you, oh, don't worry about it, we're doing this thing, and number one, the company doesn't have a real website. You don't know where they're located. You don't have an address. You don't have the name of the CEO. You don't have the name of the CFO. You don't know who's who, and they're lying to you about whether they registered. So I have said to you before, if you have money to waste, call me. I could find somewhere to for you to use the money. Maybe you can give it to charity. Because it seemed to me that every time there's a Ponzi scheme, it's sort of the same people, some of the same character, the same people who sort of get into this Ponzi scheme because they just believe that they're going to be able to get rich. And the other thing is, I went to a meeting today about, the people who lost money and the scooter company. And there were 400 people there, and they were talking about the reason that they get involved is because they had someone that they trust in their family or their friends or somebody they respected in their community who actually said to them, "Oh my God, look at all this money I'm making. You ought to be part of this. You ought to take advantage of it. Look at all this money. You have to be part of it." And then they invested in the scooter company because the person who invited them is someone that they trust and they believe in and they respect and they want to please that person. Let me tell you something. Listen to me very carefully. Okay? Some of these people, I'm sure that they have good intention. The people who invited you to invest, not all of them are fraudulent, not all of them are trying to steal your money. They have good intention. But money is very hard to make. And if you don't understand your relationship with money, if you don't know how to treat your money, you're always going to be poor, period. It's just like you're going to always be struggling. I don't care if it is God who came from heaven, came down to your house, sit in your living room, drinking a cup of coffee with you and said, I'm God, and you believe he's God, and he says, listen, I need you to invest in this because it's good. I want you to ask God the following question. Who's in charge? How long the company is in business? What kind of performance progress that they have? Show me their progress performance for the last 3 years. Show me the people who are behind this company. I want to know all the people, all the staff, and show me where they register, with what government, what agency, I need to see the paperwork. If the God cannot show you that, tell God you're not investing. So now, I'm not even talking about your friend. I'm not talking about your mother. I'm not talking about your father. I'm talking about God. And I know most of you believe in God. And I'm telling you, never, ever to take the word of somebody, no matter what they show you. I could come to you right now and show you my account at the scooter company with $2 million in it and say, I made those $2 million in the last year. Unless I could show you everything that I just told you, you're not going to invest. So I have said this different way many times in many different videos. I don't know how many videos I've got, maybe 200 videos that I've made over the last years talking about Ponzi scheme, talking about how to stay away from this. And I've seen people, I've witnessed people going into these things. I have a friend of New York, from New York, who called me, Haitian guy, who live in Long Island. He calls me and he says, "Oh, Metwa, this is a great business, blah, blah, blah." I said, "No, no, it's a fraud. It's a Ponzi scheme." He said, "No, I know President Trump is in it. There are some big people in it." I said, "Listen, I don't care if God is in it. I'm telling you it's a fraud." So when LSSC actually stopped paying, I tried to call this guy to say, "Look, you see what I was telling you." He didn't pick up the phone. But I have had so many people call me, just like Emini FX, just like Novatech, just like Omega Pro. I have told them again and again, do not invest. But for whatever reason, people cannot look at things for what they are, or they can't seem to ask the proper question because so whoever invited them is somebody they trust. But guess what? I trust my dad, I trust my sisters, I trust, my family members. I have good friends that I trust, and I respect them. I have great respect for them. But if one of them comes to me with some kind of investment proposal, I'm going to ask them the same question I just outlined. Show me the people. Show me what's going on. Show me where they registered. Show me the legal paperwork. Let me see. Let me check them. Let me do my due diligence. So it is very hard for you to complain about losing money when you haven't done your due diligence, when you haven't really sort of helped yourself by just throwing your money away to the scooter company. So the question you ask, you may be asking, how are you going to get your money back? And the answer to that, it's going to take a very long time and it's going to be very hard because as far as I know personally, I have not been able to locate the person in charge. Now, for some of the prior Ponzi schemes, like for Omega Pro, for Emini FX and Novatech, OneCoin, and so many other ones, we were able to attach the company to one particular leader, to one particular person who was in charge. But for the scooter company, we're going to have to do a lot of digging, a lot of investigation because we have been able to pinpoint one person. So we're going to have to do some forensic investigation. Now, if you are an investor in the scooter company and you send money, I need you to keep that evidence, whether you wire the money, whether you send it by Cash App, whatever method you use to send that money. I need you to keep that receipt. I need you to keep those numbers. If you use Bitcoin or you had a Bitcoin account, there's a key to the Bitcoin account and there's an address where you will send your Bitcoin. I need you to keep that information. And I also need you to keep the name of the platform you use to send that Bitcoin to wherever you were sending it and the scooter company. Because those pieces of evidence are so crucial in the forensic investigation. So keep all that. And if you're an investor who got defrauded, please, your homework right now, if you got defrauded by the scooter company, your homework right now is to sort of trace what you did. I need you to do this. You're going to write down the name of the person who invited you. You're going to write down the time, the date, the place, when, where, what. You're going to write down all of this. Then you're going to write down the date you send the first set of money, the date you send the second set of money. You're going to write down how you send the money, whether it was wire, whether it was Bitcoin. You're going to write down all that information. And if you have any receipt, any printout, any email, any text, any video meeting that you have with whichever leader you have, you need to preserve all that information because all that information will be very important. The other thing I'm going to add, if you haven't filed a complaint with the FBI, with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I would encourage you to go ahead and file a complaint with the FBI because the FBI does do investigate this kind of complaint, and I believe that there were hundred, if not millions of people who lost money in the scooter company because this was all over the place. I mean, in New York, in Miami, in Seattle, in California, in Minnesota, everywhere in the United States, there were people invested in the scooter company. And I had people calling me all the time, and I was tired of telling people, stay away, it's fraudulent, but nobody wanted to believe it. So, first of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to the professor, I need you to subscribe because this scooter company, I'm sure there will be a lawsuit soon against the scooter company, against whoever was in charge of the scooter Ponzi scheme. But I need you to to follow me because I'm going to conduct my investigations. I'm going to find out where your money went and who got the money, how, and so on. So you better subscribe to my channel so that next time I drop a video about the scooter company, you will get notice so that you can watch, you can be informed, you can stay informed. But meanwhile, do not invest in Ponzi scheme. If you want to ask question, you can always leave me a message. You could always ask the professor a question, but please be safe. Keep your money in your pocket.